processing or disposing food. I don't believe in by Christmas.
She's already told them that, yeah.
What a beautiful upbeat song to begin today's farewell. Well, there's no surprises. We have standing room only here this morning, certainly testament to how loved and respected Dorothy was, and thank you all for being here. Before we begin, if I could remind you, if you haven't already done so, to switch off your phones or turn them on to silent for the service, that would be much appreciated. Well, good morning everyone and welcome, and thank you for being here as we gather in loving memory of Dorothy. With the spirit of love and friendship that you each bring, today's service will be made even more special. And I know that Wally and his very proud family appreciate the love and the support that surrounds them all at this sad time. My name is Gina Brakey, and it really is an honour to have been asked to lead today's farewell. It is my hope that every part of this service will honour Dorothy in a meaningful way and reflect on the many things that make her so special and unique. Well, firstly, to everyone here in this beautiful chapel, welcome, and to those joining us via live stream, a very warm welcome to you all. There are some family members and friends that can't be here in person, but we do hope you feel a part of today's service. As you each take this time to remember Dorothy in your own special way, may it remind you of how much she has meant to so many. We are gathered here together this morning to honour the life and memory of Eileen Dorothy Smyth, or simply Dorothy as she was known. Today memories will be shared and you will all feel a sadness that she is no longer a physical presence in your lives. However, in spending this special time together comes the warmth of a life lived, and a love and many friendships shared, and memories that will live on long after we say farewell. Every life has value and purpose, and every life deserves that pause in our busy day to celebrate that they have lived amongst us. This service for Dorothy is certainly testament to that truth. It provides a special time of honouring, reflection, and in time healing. And it is a chance to look back on special memories in a sincere and meaningful way. Whether we let ourselves smile today, and no matter how many tears fall, it is important that we take this time to remember what a beautiful soul Dorothy was and give thanks for her life. So as we begin, I would like to acknowledge those who are most special in Dorothy's life. She was the devoted and loved wife of Wally, the proud and loving mother of Bruce, Paul, Karen and Ravina, special grandma of Zach, Jake, James, Lachlan, Lewis, Alexander, who is no longer with us, Alice, April, Charlie, Tom, Pat, Rose, Shana, Angus, Elliot and Liam, and there's quite a few of you here today, and great-grandma of Atlanta. To Dorothy's extended family and to everyone else here this morning, you were an important part of her life, and I'm sure if she could, she would thank you all for the love and the friendships that you've shared. Well, summing up Dorothy's life this morning is going to be a difficult thing to do, for no eulogy or story can ever truly capture her journey. No matter how well you have all known Dorothy, our words today will never truly do her justice. Each of you here have your own special memories. You have all known her in different ways, and I'm sure there are many things you will continue to remember. After meeting with Dorothy's family to prepare for today, I quickly learned that family was her #1 priority. She was devoted to Wally and supported him through all of their life's adventures, and she was a loving and devoted mother to Bruce, Paul, Karen and Ravina. They all shared memories of a mum who was there for them no matter what. Nothing was ever too much trouble and her door was always open. The Smyth household was a place you could visit and always feel welcome, and she created a warm and loving home. Dorothy really loved being a mum, and when grandchildren came along, she was the proudest grandma ever. Becoming a grandmother was the happiest time for Dorothy, and with Wally, they were devoted and loving grandparents to their 16 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. Hardworking, compassionate and generous were all words used to describe Dorothy. She had a strong community spirit and generously gave her time and energy to many groups and associations. She was also resilient and capable, having learned valuable life lessons from an early age growing up in a big family, and she wasn't afraid to give anything a go. There was so much to share about Dorothy, and to begin our tributes today, I would like to invite Karen to come forward and share with us a beautiful eulogy she's written for her mum. Thanks, Karen.
I'd like to start by saying our family would like to thank you all for being here to celebrate Mum's life. We really appreciate you sharing this day with us. Eileen Dorothy Smyth, also known as Mum, Mumsy, Dorothy, Dot, Dotty, Beautiful, grandma and great-grandma. Mum was born in Bensdale on the 14th of June in 1945 to Elizabeth Isabella and Percival Robert McNamara, and peacefully passed away last Friday, the 1st of September 2023, aged 78. She was one of 7 children, the 5th born after Ronnie, Laurie, Rosalie and Eva. Mum came along, and then Jimmy and Belmay. Mum grew up in Bensdale and went to school at Lucknow Primary, then later to Bensdale High School. As a child, she enjoyed playing with her brothers and sisters and running wild on the farm. In 1960, the family moved to Dandenong for employment. Mum attended Dandenong High School for 1 year in Form 4, and then went to work at Kelly and Lewis in Springvale as a ledger machinist. Her interests then were hanging out with her friends and playing lacrosse. In 1962, Mum met Dad, and the story goes that Dad asked Mum out on a date and rocked up in a little Morris Minor, which she wasn't overly impressed about. Dad explained that he was buying a new car in the next week, a Holden, so she gave him a second chance. And the rest is history, and this is of course the real reason why Dad always favoured Holden cars. Mum and Dad got married in St James Church in Dandenong on the 4th of April 1964, and they celebrated their 59th wedding anniversary this year. Mum continued to work until Bruce arrived in 1965, followed by Paul in 1967, Kara and myself in 1968, and Ravina in 1971. Mum was extremely busy with 4 children under 6. During these years, Mum and Dad lived in Mildura and New Zealand. They travelled across to New Zealand with a 2-year-old and a 7-week-old baby, with few supplies and minimal accommodation plans. Mum always supported and followed Dad wherever the work took him. We lived in Hallam near Dandenong for 5 years, where Mum was instrumental in the Hallam Housewives Buying Group, set up because the price of groceries in the supermarket had become ridiculously overpriced. Overpriced groceries was happening back in the 60s too. A group of housewives, and that's what they called themselves, would buy groceries in bulk from a place called Half Case and sell them pretty much at cost to the group in a member's garage. There were many items that proved to be nearly half the price of the supermarkets. We were having a laugh, but also admiring Mum, the quiet achiever, when we read this part of an article she wrote to entice housewives to join. On querying an article in a supermarket, the shape of the container had changed. The packet now contained less, but the price had increased. Upon mentioning this to the manager, we were told that we weren't supposed to work things like this out, and that most housewives didn't work it out. They just accepted it and kept on buying it. Because we have made a career of caring for our home and children, big businesses are under the impression that our brain ceases to function with the acquiring of a marriage certificate. If we women join forces in the fight to beat high prices, make our dollar buy more, we can succeed. Mum didn't want to cause trouble, but joined with others to make a powerful body of women to take care of their families. Wow, Ravina, I think I know where we get it from. In 1975, Dad was posted to Bensdale Technical School, back to Mum's hometown. We lived in town for 18 months, and Mum and Dad built a house at Granite Rock, which is still our family home. Mum was always behind the scenes of everything we did as a family. She was Mum's taxi service, she drove us everywhere. She was behind any catering, fundraising or organisation to do with Clifton Creek Primary School, tennis club or hall. Mum taught us to bake sponge cakes, and her sponges were well known at every event. Mum and Dad also supported us in the Bensdale Cub Scouts and Bensdale Little Athletics. Mum was a big part of the Sarsfield Fire Brigade too. She was a member of the Sarsfield Ladies Crusades, along with other local women. But Mum was always behind everything that Dad was involved in, cooking and helping out where needed. In the 80s, Mum traced her family history, and as a family, disguised as our annual holiday, we traipsed through half the cemeteries and churches in rural Victoria looking for long-lost relatives. She managed to trace both sides of the family back many, many generations through perseverance and attention to detail. This sparked her interest in the local museum. She donated her time to the East Gippsland Historical Society Museum and loved to spend time sorting, labelling and manning the museum. Mum also had a great passion for antiques and collectibles. She collected various things from beer steins to English chinaware, but it's the collection of dolls that will be remembered by most, especially by the grandchildren, as half of them still suffer nightmares from spending nights in what was referred to by Paul's brave boys, Zach and Jake, as the scary doll room. When we were all at secondary school, we initiated a family project, which Mum pretty much single-handedly held together. We had this brilliant idea to make some money, so we decided to plough up an acre paddock and grow gherkins. What a great idea! Not. The gherkins were planted and watered in the heat of summer. And in the heat of summer they were ready to pick. Needless to say that the novelty of picking gherkins in the hot sun day after day soon wore off. Ravina was only young and she was the bucket hag, emptying buckets and the rest of us picked. Dad then took the gherkins to Lindenow to sell. As the season progressed, the gherkins very quickly turned into cucumbers because we couldn't keep up the picking pace. But gherkins were worth more. Little did we know that Mum was actually secretly picking down in the gherkin patch every day that we were at school. And thanks to her hard work, we did earn some money out of that project, but we all decided that we wouldn't do that same family project the following year. Some memories of Mum while we were all at home. Always coming home and she was there with freshly baked cakes or biscuits. Walking down the hill in her big gumboots to fetch the cow for milking, Katie and Frida. We always had so much milk. Mum taking in any of our friends that were having trouble at home and offering for them to stay. She was always generous. Mum loved jewellery, especially rings, and she often had a ring on every finger, rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. All the girls in the family are wearing a piece of Mum's jewellery today. Your bling lives on, Mum. In 1988, we, us kids, had all moved out and were off studying or working. Mum was probably a bit lost for a while after spending her whole life dedicated to us. Dad and Mum did lots of travelling through the 2000s up to 2010. They went to Thailand, Fiji, China, Alaska and Canada, Ireland and Scotland and Europe, and shared many new experiences. Mum dearly loved all her 16 grandchildren and one great-grandchild. Mum was always there for advice and help with each of these kids. She certainly had the gift of settling a crying baby. Her soft and gentle nature calmed them quickly. In the early 2000s, Mum worked at Southern Lodge, then Maddox Gardens, as a carer, which is where Mum has spent the last 20 months of her life. Her caring and loving nature meant she was perfect for this job. Unfortunately, about 10 years ago, Mum started to show signs of Alzheimer's and slowly regressed. Dad amazingly looked after Mum at home for many years until the beginning of 2022, where she went into care at Maddox Gardens. Such a wonderful place for Mum to be looked after. We want to sincerely thank all the Maddox Gardens staff who have taken such wonderful care of Mum and Dad for the past 20 months. I also need to mention that Dad visited and spent time with Mum every day she was there. His love and dedication to Mum was admired by all of us. Mum certainly showed her love for Dad with her cheeky smile and in her eyes right up until the end. When reflecting on the life of Mum, the words come to mind are loving, dedicated, hardworking, quiet achiever, and she would do anything for anyone. Rest in peace, beautiful lady. Eileen Dorothy Smyth, Mum, Mumsy, Dot, Dotty, beautiful Grandma and great-grandma.
I know I said earlier it will be hard to capture someone's life, but you did such a beautiful job. I know you had a bit of input from the family as well, but you presented that so beautifully, so thank you. Not an easy thing to do. Now I'm going to invite you all to just take a moment and enjoy a video tribute from some special people. Dorothy's family have put together a few video tributes, and I would like to invite you to just sit back quietly and enjoy that.
Hi, Jim here. On the Sunshine Coast, you wouldn't think so. I've got a jumper on. To the Smyth family, my wonderful sister Dorothy. Growing up with Dorothy, never argued, of course. Always bossed me around. In our teens, we had quite a good time with different things in our small family place in Dandenong. She met Wally, the love of her life, and full credit to both of them. They had a great family, raised a great family. They were both thought of very well wherever they went in the community, especially out at Clifton, where they've done heaps of charity work and so forth. And Dorothy fell on hard times in the last few years, and credit to Wally that he looked after her. And I feel that now she's at peace and probably in a good place. Thank you.
My memories that I would share of Grandma, I guess I'd start with the worst thing of all was the doll room. That terrified me all of my childhood, but she seemed to be very fond of those. But one of the most beautiful memories that I've always remembered, and even to this day, 20-something years later, is the way every morning when I'd stay there, she would make me my little soldier eggs, perfectly boiled, with toast all cut up, and then take me down out to the little orchard and we'd walk around out there and pick some fruit. I can remember that as clear as day. But you're going to be missed.
Mum, it's okay. I can remember for the both of us. I remember the warmth of your love, the sound of your laughter, the stories that you told, the cakes that we baked, the flowers that we picked, and your support throughout my life and during the birth of my own beautiful children. Mum, I will miss you every day, but I will hold these memories close in my heart forever and share them with my children and one day maybe my grandchildren. As for you, my dear, some returned advice. Put your feet up, pour yourself a glass of wine and take a long deserved rest. Mum, I love you.
Hello everyone. Some of my fondest memories of Grandma would be as a child, like going up to Bairnsdale and hanging out at the farm, and Grandma and Grandpa always taking us to the park, and yeah, just a memory of mine that I really like. I'm going to miss you, Grandma, I'm happy that you're at peace now.
Dear Grandma, I love you and I'll miss going to see you at the farm. Dear Grandma, I love you and I'll miss taking you for walks in the sunshine.
Rest in peace, Grandma. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see you the last couple of years, but we will always remember you for the amazing person that you were. You'll be forever missed. I love you, Grandma.
How lucky we were to have you as a mum. You certainly set the bar high in the mum stakes. I admired your generous and loving and hard-working nature. May your thoughts and memories be unjumbled and clear now. Rest peacefully, beautiful mum, and know that we will be looking out for Dad. Love you.
Hello, Mum. It's Bruce and Liam. I'm just on my way to see you and pay my last respects. Only 40 more hours to go and I'll be in Bairnsdale. Just like to thank you for being such a great mother, and you're going to be sorely missed. Liam was lucky enough to meet you in February. Did you want to say goodbye to Grandma?
Goodbye, Grandma.
All right, love you, Mum. We'll see you soon. We know you're going to a better place.
Sorry you can't be there today, Wally. Just wanted to recite a poem for Dorothy. I hope she would like that, and I'm sure she would. Do not stand at my grave and weep. And this is by Claire Harner. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sun on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there, I did not die. I'm sure, Dorothy, today will be a day celebrated by a lot of people, including us, about your life, and I'm sorry we're not there again, and we'll be thinking of you and Wally and your children, Karen, Ravina, Paul and Bruce, and your friends and family. Big love to you all. Cheers to Dorothy, Aka Dot.
My fondest memory of Grandma is the 100,000 different knickknacks she used to have through the house that used to scare the hell out of me. Goodbye, Grandma. You'll be very missed.
Hey, Grandma. Lewis here. We're all hoping you're in a better place up there, and we're going to miss you. Love you.
Mumsy, thank you for your love and support over the years. You greatly influenced the person I became. I'll miss you greatly. Love you heaps.
Hi, Grandma. Miss you. Love you heaps. You'll be remembered as one of the best grandparents there ever was. You were such a lovely lady, always happy and always cheerful. Forever in our care and love.
Hey Grandpa, I just wanted to send my regards and say sorry I couldn't be there today for Grandma for her funeral, but I just wanted to tell everyone a little story that me and Elliot remember from Grandma. I reckon it was probably, it'd be 10 years ago now. I was 6, Elliot was 4 or 5. We went down to Bairnsdale one winter and Grandpa decided to take us camping out on the farm so he could teach us how to make a fire and sleep under the stars. And before he left, Grandma tells us, oh boys, like rug up because it'll be really cold and there's a lot of wildlife and stuff out there. And obviously I didn't listen, but Elliot did. It was nice and warm and I was freezing. It was so cold. I still remember it to this day. Anyway, we come back the next morning and Grandma goes, oh, Gus, Angus, why are your lips blue? I was like, oh, Grandma, I should listen to you. And she goes, oh, you silly, silly boy. And then, well, from now on, I just remember Grandma whenever I go out somewhere and I forget my jumper or just too busy like thinking about other things to bring it. But yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't be there today, and I just wanted to send a little message. Thanks, Grandpa. See you.
Hello, I'm just here in Portugal, but saying goodbye to Dorothy. I went in to see her a couple of days before I came away, and I said, I'm going on holidays, Dottie, and I'll see you when I get back. But that won't happen now, so I won't be able to say goodbye there. But basically, we've been saying goodbye to Dorothy for years now, so this is just simply the last goodbye that we'll have a chance to say to her. So I'll say goodbye, Dorothy, and ma salama. Ma salama, Dorothy.
On the Sunshine Coast, you wouldn't think so. I've got a job.
A very special way to share tributes from people who are here and also those that can't be with us today. And moral of that video tribute is always listen to your grandma, because she's most likely been around for many, many, many years before you have, so she would know the best. Granddaughter Shana, where's Shana? She's got a beautiful reading she's going to share with us today, titled Remember Her.
In the rising of the sun and in its going down, in the blowing of the wind and in the chill of the winter, in the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember her. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of the summer, in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, in the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, when we have joys we yearn to share, we remember her. So long as we live, she too shall live, for she is now a part of us, as we remember her.
Now I know that everyone in this chapel and those watching via live stream have their own special memories of Dorothy. A lovely way to continue celebrating her life and sharing those memories is to join Wally and his family at the RSL a little bit later. We are headed to the Bairnsdale Cemetery for a private burial, so Wally and his family, we will head to the cemetery, but that's just a family gathering at the cemetery, and they do invite you to head across to the RSL, and they won't be too long, and they will join you. And as I said, a lovely way to continue celebrating Dorothy's life. So there is a warm invitation to head across to the RSL when we do leave the chapel here today. So on that note now, we have reached a part of the service which is really special, taking a trip down memory lane through some photos. A couple of beautiful songs have been chosen to accompany these photos, and it really is just a lovely way for you to sit quietly and reminisce on Dorothy's life, so please enjoy.
She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was afraid that somebody would say,
2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
it was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the locker she wanted to stay.
2, 3, 4, stick around, we'll tell you more.
She was afraid to come out in the open, and so a blanket around her she wore. She was afraid to come out in the open, and so she sat bundled up on the shore.
2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka the blanket, she wanted to stay.
2, 3, 4, stick around, we'll tell you more.
Now she's afraid to come out of the water, and I wonder what she's gonna do. Now she's afraid to come out of the water, and the poor little girl's turning blue.
2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the water she wanted to stay.
From the locker to the blanket, from the blanket to the shore, from the shore to the water.
Guess there isn't any more.
Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be on Mull of Kintyre. Far have I traveled, and much have I seen. Dark distant mountains with valleys of green, past painted deserts, the sun sets on fire as he carries me home to the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, oh, Mull of Kintyre. Sweep through the heather like deer in the glen. Carry me back to the days I knew then. Nights when we sang like a heavenly choir of the life and the times of the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, oh, Mull of Kintyre. Smiles in the sunshine and tears in the rain still take me back where my memories remain. Flickering embers grow higher and high as they carry me back to the Mull of Kintyre. Mull of Kintyre.
Some very special memories. There's a beautiful blessing on the inside cover of your Order of Service, A Life Well Lived. I would like to ask Dorothy's grandson Lachlan to come forward and share that with us. Thanks, Lachlan.
A life well lived is a precious gift of hope, strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared, and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure, a living, lasting memory of grateful hearts will treasure. May the road rise to meet you, may the wind be always at your back, may the sun shine warm upon your face, the rain fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
Thanks, Lachlan. Well, today we have given thanks for Dorothy's life and we have spent time reflecting on the impact her life has made. While we are united in our sadness at her passing, we are also warmed and comforted by our memories. Let us leave here this morning enriched by these special memories and with the intention of living our lives to the fullest. We know that Dorothy would want that for you all. Life has a funny way of teaching us. It will create deep sadness so that we know how to truly understand happiness. It will create chaos in our lives so that we may know the peaceful times. And it will take those we love away from us so that we will truly understand what their presence has meant. Dorothy's presence will be missed, but it will be the special memories of how she impacted your life that will remain in all of your hearts forever. On behalf of Dorothy's family, I would like to just lastly extend a heartfelt thank you for the friendship and the support, for the messages, for the visits and the genuine care and concern that has been shown to them. It is appreciated more than words can say. Wally is especially lucky to be surrounded by his loving family who will help him through those inevitable moments of sadness. After spending some time to reflect on their life together, I hope that Wally can find comfort in the special memories he and Dorothy have created, and I feel sure he is grateful to have shared so many special years with her by his side. Well, as some people journey through life, they leave footprints wherever they go, footprints of kindness and love, of inspiration and happiness. Even though Dorothy has gone, we can still look back and clearly see the footprints she has left behind, and we will remember that her life was one of value and purpose, and it was filled with a whole lot of love. Dorothy was never one to be in the spotlight, but this service has certainly been a chance for us to remember her fondly and most proudly. And I'm sure if she could, she would thank each and every one of you, particularly the front couple of rows here, for being such an important part of her life. Dorothy, you have held your family's hands for a while, but you will have their hearts forever. May you forever rest in peace with a certain knowledge that our love goes with you. Thank you.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get down, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets up next to you. And if I give up, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's able to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall.
Close to the